All right, we're live at the One Pocket Finals here. Slate Billiard Club, St. Paul. I'm Josh Burble, one of the owners. Head bottle washer. Got Mike Pankoff, Pancake Mike, versus Dan Nierenhausen, little Dan. It's going to be a great matchup. Thanks for joining us. They're getting ready for the leg. It's a race to 3. It's a single elimination tournament we had here, and this is the final match, and both players won 2 matches to get here. It's going to be a great match. I'm rocking it solo today. The voice of Slate, Brian Brecky, is handling some family stuff, so nothing major, just couldn't make it. So you guys are stuck with me. Here we go. As I like to say, got the leg. It looks like little Dan might get the first break. Gonna alternate the break. Playing one pocket, race to 3. Each player is gonna have a hole to shoot at on the bottom. They're gonna have to make 8 balls in that hole. Run through the rules, I don't know. Maybe if Nancy's watching. If they scratch, a ball gets spotted up. If they don't have a ball, they'll pull a coin and mark it and owe a ball. We'll see. I think Dan's a right-handed player, so he might. We'll see which side he chooses to break from. Typically, you're going to want to break to the side of the table where you're not going to be stretched out. We're going to have a nice reach at everything. Wait a minute. See, I think now I'm reversed. Is Dan a lefty? No, Dan's a righty. No, Dan's a lefty. So they're both lefties. We got a southpaw matchup here. So okay, so try to figure that out later. So Dan hit a good break. He drove the 15 over to the side of by his hole, and the cue ball's blocked, and it's blocked in a couple ways. Mike cannot get to that 15, I don't think, and the 1 and 14 are blocking, even kicking at it from below, from the end rail there. So Mike's got some problems. He's going to take his time on this opening shot because he does not want to start in a deficit. It's a race to 3, so he's got some time, but it's not a gambling session where you can just play a little faster and looser. Every shot has a little more meaning to it in a race to 3. Let's see what Mike's thinking. He's looking at his options at the bottom of the rack down there, bottom of the table. Like I said, there's not an obvious kick below. One spot would be to just push the cue ball up by the top pocket on Dan's side. He could kick at the 15. It looks like he might be kicking at the 15. He's got to be a little careful because the 1 comes across again. If he got too high, if the cue ball got loose, but if he hits it soft and just clips the side rail on Dan's side, if he kicks it to that second rail, the 15 will just kind of kick back up towards the rack. I don't know. He's talking with Buster probably. See, this is great. I like watching this. Mike with the big smile. He's trying to figure it out. He knows he's in a little bit of a tough spot here, so he's not shooting fast. Okay, this is looking like the kick. He's just going to try to kick the 15 out of the way. He's not going to calculate everything in one shot. He's just going to try to clear it away from the pocket and get out of the break, quote unquote, the first part of the break, which is this shot. See how he does. If he ends up hitting that second rail on the side, it's going down. He did not do that. Oh, this is a good outcome. He just made it. That works too. You know, you don't want to go too specific on it, maybe, where you're trying to hit too exact of a shot. You just got to make sure you don't get nuts and you get the ball cleared away from the pocket. So now Dan's got one. Oh, got to mark the ball count. This is going to be easier when I'm not worried about jaw-jacking with Brecky. Be more focused here on each shot. So now Dan, we're going to learn. Looks like he might be able to bank the 14 over. Yep. And make it. Great shot, Dan. Now he's got the 5. And we'll see. He's got some distance on the 5. But he's got a little protection if he wants to stun out for the 13, the orange 13 there that's hanging towards his area there. Because if the cue ball was to pop, oh, he's just going to go 13. Okay, this is a good shot. He's just going to roll the 13, and that will give him that type of protection. Yeah, shooting the 5, I guess that made sense to pass that up. I didn't mind shooting the 5 because if it rattled or something happened, yeah, you were on that side of the rack if you were Mike, but there was still going to be a ball hanging likely, and he could have been shooting the 13 from a similar angle closer. But, you know, it's the first game, too. You got to factor in the fact that I'm sure he's a little bit warmed up. He came here an hour early, but that doesn't mean when the camera goes on and the match starts, it's a different level of warmth. So maybe he didn't feel that much warmth. Okay, so Dan's got 2. Now he's kind of trying to figure out where to go from here. What's he thinking? Let's guess together. He kind of wants to run stuff towards his hole, leave pancake, something to think about. And I like what he was thinking there. He was thinking to put him behind the stack and put stuff towards his hole. It's a pretty simple shot. Worked out. I think he would have liked to have him more frozen against the rack because Mike has some options here because he's not stuck on the rack. So let's see. Mike has got to be a little bit concerned with the 1. Let's see what he's looking at. He's looking down. Okay, I have a side view here. I'll show you guys. Sorry, I'm trying to work the transitions here. Now we got Mike's back. Okay, this is what Mike's looking at when he's looking down the barrel there at the 15. Let's take a look. He might be looking at maybe a mini blastorama where he hits that 15 into the point and shoots out and blasts the 1. I'm not saying that's what he's looking at. I'm just saying, shish, that's what I'd probably be looking at. I don't think there's like a really good bank across. I think the 1 sort of blocks the 15 bank. So it's hard to do too much here. He's looking. What else could Mike be looking at? He might be looking to make sure there's nothing frozen and going to Dan's hole, but looks like he's more trying to come up with a shot. And yeah, he's pointing his hand down the rail there. He's looking at where things could end up, the shot he's designing. It looks like he is doing some sort of cut shot on the 15. Oh, it's a kick. Okay. Ooh, that was nice. Just a kick on the 1. See, I'm here learning with you guys too. So I'm learning what Mike likes. And Mike likes simple. And he did a simple little kick shot there. He ended up coming out nice. Didn't leave the 15. If he would have hit on the other side of the 9, he would have been, Dan would have been looking at a bank on the 15, but he doesn't have that available. So now let's go to, that shot's over. Got to move on to the next one, which is, I'll show you this transition just if you want to see what's going on from Dan's side. Well, I think Dan. Okay, the 5, the 1, and the 9. Those are kind of nice where they are. One shot could be he could bank the 1 and move the cue ball back up towards Mike's pocket up there, up by that beautiful slate chair, custom slate chair, that pocket up there. I don't know. He's got it loaded with some English. That's exactly what he did. And he's not trying to make the ball here. He's just trying to push it in front of the pocket, just like that. So that was a really nice shot, Dan. Very simple. And now Mike has to deal with that. He's got to deal with the 1 ball, worry about double kissing the cue ball if he banks it out. There's things he's got to think about here. So Dan is keeping Mike on the defensive. Mike's not really hasn't been able to shoot at his hole yet. He's just been kind of knocking balls away from Dan's hole, and Dan's got 2 balls. So Dan likes his position. He's keeping it pretty simple. And now Mike, I think, is trying to clear both these balls. Maybe the 9 into the 1. Or maybe he's just going to clear the 1. Let's find out. I can't really tell from the angle. Yeah, he cleared them both. And got some stuff on his side. All right, Mike kind of mixed it up there. Got to switch things around. Move the furniture, as we like to say. And he doubled up the 9 so he can't just knock the 9 out. So that was a nice shot, Mike. It's a good shot. And now Dan's trying to figure out getting that 9 away from his side. Maybe he'll chip that 1 into the 9 and bank that 9 over on his side and draw the cue ball back to the end rail. That's a possible shot where he half ball hits the 9 with the 1 almost straight on here and just sticks him on the end rail, because being stuck on the end rail ain't very fun. And getting stuff back on your side is a good play for Dan. But we're going to have to see what Dan does. He might do the exact shot I said. Nice. Okay, well, good shot, Dan. And now he's got Mike stuck on the end rail. Ball's on his side again, up 2-0. And Mike does not have an offensive shot at his hole yet. And we're exactly 15 minutes in, with 14 minutes in, and Mike has not been able to shoot at his hole yet. So good job, Dan. That is what you want to do when you're playing 1 pocket. And look at Dan in the chair. Mr. Relaxed. Love that about Dan. He is the opposite of a tuning fork. Dan is a calm dude, a smooth dude. So I really like Dan's game for that reason. And I like his approach and his attitude, and how he walks the table. Very calm, very relaxed. He's just thinking through his options. Kind of a very good cadence, very consistent pace. Dude is Mr. Calm. I love it. Not manufactured. Doesn't seem manufactured. Just kind of, if you ever talk to Dan, see, he's got the nice loose grip. Everything is nice and loose and calm with Dan. Okay, I like that shot. Kicked it across, moved his furniture, moved the balls across to his side a little bit, stuck Mike on the top. He really put him in a good spot. Again, there's nothing going that Mike can do to really move stuff towards his hole. He's on top of a ball, so he's got a limited amount of balls that he can shoot at, namely the 3 ball. And so now he can put Dan back on top of the stack potentially and put the 3 over by the 15, a couple rails, 2 or 3 rails. Let's see what he ends up doing here. Oh, he just hit a little softy and put the cue ball down there. That's nice. I was maybe getting a little creative there. So I like what he did there. Just kind of kept it simple. Mike, now at the 16-minute mark, still hasn't been able to shoot his hole, and he's just been not panicking. And he looks calm as well in his chair from the shoulders down. If we look at him, he is a calm dude as well. Mike, a little behind the scenes. He's more of a tuning fork, fast twitch guy, I'd say, who has been working on being calm, more calm. And so it's working. I see it in his game. He just came back from Arizona, won a tournament down there, and played great. In the finals, he had a little gas out in the first set, and he was able to just stay calm and get it in the second set, and that's all about his new process of staying calm. Dan here is going to chip this 15 across, leave the cue ball up there, double him up on some balls, hopefully, so he can't just bank anything towards, Mike can't just bank anything towards his hole. He would have maybe liked to have his cue ball back down towards that end rail a little bit more, because now Mike's got a full bridge, and he has a couple options, and you'd rather have him ideally down on the end rail with no bridging off the rail and half the cue ball. But this will work because he's got a lot of pressure on Mike now. Mike's not in a trap here, but he's definitely got some pressure because the 10 goes, the 8 goes, the 2 might go. Let's look at that. No, the 7's blocking. Okay, so, but he's got a couple balls. He's got some balls that can go. The 7 up there, the red 7 in the center. So he's definitely got some stuff that banks. I'm talking about Dan's pocket now. Mike's still trying to dig out here and get something towards his hole and get Dan thinking about having to knock stuff away from Mike's hole. So I think he might be coming up with a shot to put the 10 over on his side and try to protect the cue ball. And that's what he was trying to do, and it didn't quite work. So that is going to leave Dan potentially the 15 if we can look at it. The 15, yeah, that's what Dan's kind of looking at. If we look at the angle here, is he gonna roll it? It looks like he's rolling it. Yep, he's just gonna pop it in or put it by the hole. He had played position on the 10. It's a good shot. Mike was a little bit fortunate that that side pocket was in play there, and Dan couldn't go nuts. He just had to kind of cinch it with some inside, and didn't cinch it, but like had to definitely be aware when he was shooting of the ball, the 5 ball, and the side pocket and everything. So he wasn't able just to free stroke that one in. Again, Dan's demeanor in the chair looks like he's not troubled at all. He understands it's a long race, a long game, one pocket. It's not a bing, bang, boom game. So what's Dan? Mike is just gonna, he's just gonna pocket and stick him in there. Yeah, leave him on the rail. And sitting at 3 balls. Let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Oh, Dan must have 4 balls. Sorry, guys and gals. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. It's got to be 4. I don't think Mike's made one yet. So Dan's on 4. Mike did give up a little bank. I kind of liked maybe sticking him in his hole a little better there, but that's fine. Because now Mike's got to deal with this. I guess if I was thinking, if he would have kind of stuck that ball and just slow rolled it and left him a more of a back cut, it would have been a little more dangerous for Dan, because Dan was able to bank and cover the 10. But that's over now. We're into this new shot. And Mike is now looking at this 9 because he wants to shoot at his hole. It's been 21 minutes without shooting at his hole. It's time to shoot at the hole, maybe. At least Mike's considering it. Because the 1 and the 5 are doubled up. That's what Mike's walking down to look at right now, I think. Is what happens if he banks this and leaves the cue ball down with the 1 and the 5 doubled up. He maybe changed his mind because now he's getting down and looking at doing something where he knocks the 8 into the 10. And that looks like the decision he's making. And that is a bummer. Didn't come out well. And that's going to leave Dan an opportunity to shoot in the 8 and play shape up table. Now let's find out where Dan likes to be up here. The 2's blocked by the 7. Remember that from before. Nothing's changed. The 5 ball goes. The 7 ball goes. He's just going to do the simple shot and just go 1 rail up and leave himself the 7 ball. So that 5 does not have enough cue ball. He's not even looking at it. He's just looking at the 7. He's just dealing with what happened. He probably got pretty much where he wanted to be. And, yeah, he's just going to kind of take him a ball at a time against the old Pankoff. Hold his lead. 2, 4, 6. I don't know. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 10. It's got 5-0 on the ball count. Mike's gonna likely just gonna have to concede this ball and leave him in his hole. This is pretty miserable for Mike. Well, maybe Mike doesn't want to give it up that easy. Maybe he wants to kick it out. Yep. And did not want to give that one up. And that's okay. That's a good idea because not giving that up, Mike, I wish he was here doing commentary with me because then he could tell me why you go and decide to not, take it out and leave him on the other side of the rack like that. The cue ball was a little bit an issue there. So I was going to say Dan didn't like anything there. This is a nice shot. I was trying to look at that side angle to see if anything kind of knocked over towards his hole from the stack. But Dan just took the bank with the cue ball up there. And I guess at most, Mike has a cross bank on the 9 from distance. I actually warmed Mike up beforehand. I didn't warm him up. He was hitting this bank. And I was standing there, so I kept racking it up for him so he could practice it. So we'll see what he decides to do. If he wants to bank it over to his side and run the cue ball up by the 5. I think he's going to want something to start getting to happen. He's looking from this angle here. We can see he's kind of looking at that 9. And maybe he might just take it out. We'll see if he banks it or takes it out. He might kick it out. Yep, he just took it out. Just popped it and took it out. That's a shot that Mike taught me. Just hit the stop. Look for the stop shot. So I think he just wanted to make it simple. Look for the stop shot. Live to fight another day. So now the takeout looks smart that he did. Looks much better than 6-0. Maybe I'm too much of a nit. Maybe I just learned something there. I guess I don't play a ton of one pocket, so I get a little worried with the cue ball and where it goes on takeouts. All right, here we go. Mike still hasn't shot at his hole. He's got to just keep dinking the ball, and he's just in a kind of a bad spot here. He hasn't been able to do anything. The balls are ending up going up table. Mike would like the balls all down table. Dan wants them up table now. Dan's got a pretty simple shot to just knock this 4 ball 2 rails towards his side and stick Mike on that 7 deuce or below it, anywhere he chooses depending on the angle. See what he ends up doing. He could roll through and leave Mike up table, which is what he's doing. And that's a good shot. Got the table, got that 4-ball closer to his pocket, which with my shot that I was talking about, it would have been just up by the 6 and the 1 up there and just more clustered up table. And now Mike's got to kind of think about it, deal with it, take it out. Is he going to do the same thing? Is he going to knock it out? I think he's going to just hit a stop shot and get it out. That's exactly what he did. The downside of that shot is that it goes up into Mike's Dan's area and is out of play. Not out of play, but it's up table. It's a good shot. It's easy to execute. But the balls are ending up table. Mike wants them down table, but you got to weigh it out when you're playing and say, even though you're down 5-0 in balls, you can't force it. And the worst thing that Mike could have done there potentially is try to force some sort of bank and move stuff over and leave Dan an open shot, and the game could be over in that shot. So I'm learning to be more conservative by watching all this one pocket. Hopefully we can learn together by watching it together here. Dan is okay with those balls being there. A lot of times you see players just sort of panic spray them up table because they're up 5-0. And I shouldn't say panic, but I should say a lot of times players will just hit from where Dan was there and draw back, move those balls up table and get the cue ball down here and just make it everything up table, like a wedge game kind of style. And Dan didn't do that. So he probably figures, hey man, if there's a few balls down table and they're kind of on his side, even though they don't go in his pocket and the one goes in Mike's pocket, Dan did not see value in doing that or reason in doing that. So it's fun to watch and learn how these guys play. They're both great players. Mike just wanted those balls down table, but wiggled open so they can start being able to go in his pocket. So I like that shot. Mike was just thinking, let's get these balls wiggled open. Can't tell you exactly where they're going to end up, but I want them wiggled open so they got a chance that they can start going. And they ended up where all of them go in Dan's pocket now, and they don't go in Mike's, or one of them goes in Mike's, but the two. But it still was a good shot. So then Dan now has an easier shot at a more controlled shot than the last shot, which was a blast kind of shot and draw back. Now Dan had a really easy controlled shot to get the ball up table. Now Mike's going to be in a ball for ball comeback war situation. He's just going to try to leave him on the end rail, and he came up a little short. I don't know, should we look at a different angle just for the heck of it? But let's go back because this is a better angle. And let's see what Dan has. His banking lanes aren't really open. I think mostly he's just going to think cue ball here. He might just chip the 7, put the cue ball up by Mike's corner. There's not really leaving too much of a bank at Mike's pocket, although there are some banks available. He's kind of standing up there looking, just where I was talking. If we look right now where Dan's looking, he's looking to see if he puts the cue ball right there, if there's anything coming across Mike's side from there. So we'll see what he determined. If he doesn't like that spot of the cue ball, he'll come up with something else. But he's shooting right away, and he decided he did not mind that position for the cue ball, and it wasn't really too concerned about these 7 and the 5 banking across. He could live with that. So we'll see what Mike comes up with. Mike could just move every ball to his side in one shot. That's what I would be thinking. That's my problem with one pocket. How can I sweep half the rack over? Okay, what's Mike looking at? 7 or the 5? let's see. Can we look together? I can see this angle. You can see what I can see now. Okay, no, he's going. He's just gonna bank the 12 up and put the cue ball down, which is fine. That's all cue ball, and putting the 12 on his side, the pink 12. Shout out to Brian Brecky. Yeah, I don't need to have the rack in front of me here, Brecky. If you're watching this, I know the color of the balls. Why am I talking trash? Voice of Slate. Guy's the greatest ever. Okay. Dan, 2-rail on the 12. Yep. Just get it going towards there. His hole. Cue ball down here. Simple shot. What's Mike looking at? He can't even. He hasn't even been able to hit at his hole yet. It's unbelievable. He's got to try to. What's he gonna do? He's just gonna blast the 3 up, 3 rails up table. Is he gonna try to 1-rail it? Try to snap it in like a boss? Yeah, that's exactly what he was trying to do. Well, that one hurt. See how straight Dan is in here. He's pretty straight in. Maybe has a little angle where he could drag it up between the 2 balls. Looks pretty straight. He might just, let's see how big it was. Yep, that shot there. That's not too straight. Well, that was a game winner. Because Dan is on 6 now. And he's got these 2 for the win. And that was a great shot. And he's good on the last ball. Just needs to clean this up. He's going to roll it in. Excellent shot. Nice shot, Dan. Very good. All right. Great opening game. Played well from both players. Mike was in a tough spot from the start. It's a tough way to start. Down 1-0 and hadn't shot at your pocket yet, but Mike's a tough guy. He's got the break. He's a bad man. He's a mental warrior. Zero concerns about this guy. All righty. Let's see how Mike hits the break. What is he? Okay, he's just getting set. See if there's any adrenaline or if he just hits a nice break. The adrenaline should be kind of gone by now. We're already a half hour into it, so good break. Maybe would have liked to hit it a little harder to kind of double up everything on that 6 and the 5, because now he's got some options with the 7. And let's look at Dan's angle a little bit better and see what Dan's looking at. So this is what Dan sees if he walks around to Mike's side of the pocket, or his side of the table rather, his pocket. No. I'm sorry. If he walks around to Mike's side, yes, Mike broke. This is where I need to work on my game. So we're going to learn together. Getting out of the break. It's a stressful situation in one pocket because it's hard. It's hard to figure out the right shot. Starting out playing the game years ago, one of the mistakes I made was trying to do too much to get out of the break. Try to get it all back in one shot, and I don't know, if you're just starting out playing one pocket, you want to be careful not to fall into that trap. Sometimes you just have to take a foul, push the cue ball somewhere, stick it on the rack, push it up table, or play a nice little scrapey safety. I don't know if he could scrape the 7 and get behind the 12-1. He's kind of looking down that barrel, that area. Let's see what he comes up with. There's not really too much because the 7 ball is not doubled on anything, there's really not a spot to push 2 up there. I think he's going to try to figure something out to try to get the cue ball back towards behind those 2 balls. I don't know if maybe there's a kick available. It looks like he's looking. If I followed his eyes, it looks like he's almost looking at a kick. But I don't see a great kick there. If he kicked into the 12, so it seems like it might leave the 7 ball, but maybe the 7 ball's not far enough up to bank. Now let's look. Well, I guess he's blocking the camera, so we'll look at the other way. See what he decides. Yeah, kick in the 12. Meh, that could work. Kick on the top side of the 12. See what he does. Okay, he just took a foul. That's good. He Mickey Moused him. Nice shot. That's a good shot. So he'll put up 1 because he owes 1. I'll put him down as owing 1 because I pay attention to the score. All right, so see what Mike comes up with. Mike's in a tiny bit of a pickle here. It's hard to get out of there, even. Really, honestly. I think he's going to try to 2-rail out of there and not hit any of these balls when he exits. Yep, just like that. Just up into the corner. That's a good shot. It's a great shot. That's a nice shot. Wasn't a pickle, but it wasn't an easy spot either. Had to hit a delicate shot, not hit the 9. And now he's got a good situation. He's got Dan up table. He's got 5 balls to go to his hole. And Dan's going to have to just fight his way out of it like Mike did the last game. 1 ball at a time. And we'll see if Mike can hold his position and keep Dan on his heels. Or if Dan can do something spectacular and turn it around quickly. Let's see. Is he looking at another kick? It's not a super easy spot. Might be going off the 8, just kind of chipping and missing the 9. Not an easy shot, kind of delicate. Yeah, that was not an easy shot at all. That could have went wonky. But it worked out. Worked out good enough. And now Mike's got to come up with a shot. I kind of like cutting that 7 and banking it and putting the cue ball back where it was. Just kind of overcutting the 7. That's me. He might be looking at banking that 4 into the stack and kind of getting stuff sweeping. It's such a tricky shot, though. Yeah, he's looking at the stack, so we'll see what he does. Because if you bank the 4, you send it between the 5 and the 6, some good stuff can happen. I think that might be what he's doing. Let's watch from this angle here. Yep. Oh, it wasn't quite as hard as I was designing it, but it was a good shot. All cue ball. Good shot, Mike. I'm a little bit of a wild man. I like to sweep balls, sweep balls, sweep balls. So that was a cool shot. It was a similar shot that I was thinking, but a lot more controlled, a lot better on the cue ball, and better result. So now Dan's not in the greatest spot. Being on the end rail, balls that go towards Mike's hole. There's no easy takeouts. There's no safe spots, no offensive shot for himself. He's just kind of got to figure out how to not leave Mike a shot. Maybe he'll go back to that 8 ball, go off the 8, miss the 15, and stick the cue ball by the 12. It's a little tricky, but if you're a one pocket player, which Dan is, seems like a pretty not an easy shot, but like a common shot, a shot you hit a lot. So let's see what he does. He's kind of got a little no, he's pretty level. I was going to say, he looked like he was jacking a little bit. So that's the shot he hit. Yep. But you could see the challenge with that shot is that he almost scratched. It was just, it's difficult because if you shoot that shot and you hit the 15, you're in trouble if you hit it too thick. And if you hit it too thin like that, you can scratch. So, all right, let's figure out what Mike's got. Let's give you a Mike view from his pocket angle. Nothing obvious. Looking around. I think might be looking, he's kind of looking at any sort of 1 or 2 rail option up table, anything kind of simple around here that he can bank across, stick the ball, move some balls towards his side, just kind of looking at, I think, different options like that. Might be looking for just like a little simple thing where he could potentially play a kick shot. I mean, this is something that I was looking at, but if you kicked down into the 7 and then the cue ball rolled forward 2 rails and went kind of around the stack area, I don't even know if that's a shot, but whatever. Maybe I got my inner Chohan out there. I see the fun part of commentary is I can just come up with stuff that who knows if I could execute it or not. All right, back with Mike in the real world. What is Mike gonna do? Wants to hold his position. I think he's gonna shoot the 7. Yeah, but the problem is the 4 ball. The 4 ball's pretty big. But maybe if he gets the cue ball in the good spot and he makes Dan have to clear something out, he doesn't have to worry about the 4 ball. So let's see where the cue ball ends up. Yeah. Yeah, so it ended up there. The 4 ball's open. It's a long shot. It's I think what Dan is going to look at is what's going to happen with the cue ball if he shoots the 4. Where is it going? If he doesn't, if it happens where he doesn't make it, what's possible with the cue ball? Is he going to leave something? Is he not? Is it sort of, can he find like a free shot type of shot out of here where he hits it at a certain pace and a certain strike where the cue ball is protected and it maybe floats see that area between the 14 and the 8 to float over. If you hit either of those balls, you could be in trouble. So we'll see what he does. Or does he just go all in on the make, or does he pass on it? He passed on it. That's okay. He considered it and he passed on it. No problem. He went with something simple. Very simple shot. Ooh. Well, I think he might have wanted a do-over there. That's interesting. He looked, and then he kind of just shot a little quick on the decision, and it kind of didn't work out. But that happens in pool. And now we'll see if Mike can run some balls. Looks like he's got an opportunity here to run some balls. And that ends that opportunity. I don't think he can make this. Well, it's pretty thin. Let's see what happens, Mike. Okay. What a shot. What a shot. Smooth shot. So now he's got 2, but I'll put him on 1. And then does he have the 8 ball? Does he want to go down from the 13 into those other balls? If he draws off the 8 into the 9, he opens up the 11. It's a little easier to make the 8, but he's got to make sure he doesn't go forward necessarily because he could get stuck behind the rack. See what he chooses. Looks like he's going to shoot the 8, and I think he's going to kind of snap it, move the 9, smooth the 9 out of the way, and shoot the 11. Let's look at that angle, see what you guys think. Okay. That looks like it's a possible shot. The 8, where you just clip half the 9 and just kind of smooth it back, so you got a nice shot on the 11. Let's see what he ends up doing. Step 1 is line up on the 8. It looks good. Step 2 is deliver. Yep. And he did it. Thought he would have ripped it a little more, but easy from the chair, right? Okay. Now, the reason why I thought he would have ripped it a little more is to try to get a little more space but behind the away from the oven, but he might be okay here to pinch it. Ooh, I don't like this. He's got almost pop masse, which is fine. I guess it looked trickier than it was. When I see an elevated cue like that, I'm like, uh-oh. But obviously Mike knows that shot really well. Now, the bad part is he got a little flat on the 9. We'll try to figure out what's he going to do. If he had more angle, he'd be able to get over for those 2 balls. He might have to just kind of do a little cinch-a-rooski a little bit and bank the 4 ball over to his side. Okay. All right. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I actually have the ball count right. Mike's got 5 and he owes 1. It's 4. So now Mike is going to do this. He wanted to put him down and kind of, I think he wanted to kind of stick him on the 7 down there, which is good. Put the 4 on his side. Doesn't owe 1 anymore. Dan owes 1. He's down 4 to -1. But Dan's not favor, but it could be worse. The balls could all be wedged up table right now. They're not. They're in play. And we'll have to see if that 5-6 goes at his hole. And he's going to put this one across and hopefully protect the cue ball. I'm not sure if he did or not. He would have liked to. He would have liked the 7 to be a little closer because Mike can potentially shoot this bank and leave the cue ball up on the side, on the end rail up there, and the 7 is not makeable. So so Mike has some options here. It's a 3 actually, not a 7, but yeah, Mike's kind of stalking the table, looking around, figure out what his best shot is. On the side angle, if we look, it looks like he's looking towards the, he was looking at the 9 something there. Now he's back at the bottom of the rack, back to the 9-15 area. Now looking at the 4. And he goes with the 4, potentially. Nope. Just thinking. He's looking and thinking. Might go back to the shot down table. Checks the ball count. And he decided to play this shot. Ooh. No rail. That was interesting. I'm trying to think. If he banked the 4, the 7 ball would still be there. but the cue ball will be up in the pocket and the board will be by his hole. So that's the way I thought about it, but that's no problem. It's just, again, like I said, it's not my first rodeo, but it's probably my second. Okay, so Dan just did a little chip shot. And see what Mike comes up with. Is he gonna kick behind this 3-ball? Put the 3-ball up by more on his side rail up high. That's, ooh. Wonder if that's what he was thinking. I wonder, well, maybe he might have been trying the, ooh, you know what? I think it was the push the 3-ball over towards his hole and maybe stick the cue ball on the behind this, run the cue ball into the 6, and he just hit it a little thin. I think that's maybe what he was trying. It'd be funny if that 5-6 was wired and Dan just hit it at break speed and ran out. Funny. Haha. Not for Mike, though. Obviously, the 5-6 isn't wired. I don't have the side view. Do I have a side? Let's look at a side view. Is there anything? That doesn't show anything better. I'll save you guys the headache. We'll just go back to the stand. I won't even show you that. I thought the side view might show the 10-2 and the 5-6, but it really didn't. All right, Dan, what you doing here? You don't mind the balls being down table. You might like that 4 on your side of the pocket, on your side of the table. Simple shot, and just stick the cue ball on the rail or near the rail. It's a good shot, Dan. At least Mike has to think about that 4 now. Doesn't have any shot at his pocket. Nothing obvious. Interesting. What about if he hit the 9 and ran the cue ball over kind of down from where his hand is right here, and that cue ball went over there and then towards the 7, and then stuff just kind of wiggled towards his side? I don't know, he's not going to shoot that. That's nonsense talk. What's he doing? Is he banking this? Yep, banking it. You could just do that. Nice shot, Mike. Ring one up for Mr. Pankoff. All right. I told you guys, I'm a sweeping guy. I like to sweep the balls over. I probably won't be anymore after watching all this one pocket. He could shoot the same shot. Sweep him, sweep him, sweep him. No, he's actually on the wrong side of the 9 for it. It'd be nice if his cue ball was over another diamond and a half on the other side of the 9, and he could be more natural. Doesn't have like a ton of great options here. And it's a situation where he's up 4 to -1, but it's not as relaxed as it would be if 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, if 70% of these balls were up in the kitchen. They're all in play, and Dan can run balls, so this is not like a relaxed spot for Mike. The ball. So is he hitting the shot I was talking about off the 9? Yep, just hit it softer than I was thinking, but that's fine. That worked. Well, and the reason why I hit it softer is because he didn't have that angle. If he had more of an angle on that 9, he could have paced a little bit more, got stuff kind of wiggling and moving, and he had to hit it soft and control the cue ball. Do we get any side angle? Does that change anything? Oh, let's go. What is this, side view? Doesn't really do much for us. Corner view? Ooh. I could show it to you, but it's not really showing much different. Let's go back to this one. So what's Dan got here? Wants to get stuff towards his side. He's kind of covered on the 14. There's not like an obvious shot on the 15. He hasn't shot anything wild yet, so there's anything that I would design would be kind of wild. 15 off the 1, push the cue ball through. 1 sweeps, 15 sweeps back. I don't know. Yeah, he's not going to do that. Let's see. Blastorama? He doesn't need a Blastorama. I have a very small arsenal of shots. Okay, well, he did kind of shoot my shot. He did. Look at that. Didn't really work, but he did shoot the off the 1 ball shot. Okay, so now Mike, I can't tell on these angles. On the angle we're looking at here, it looks like it has no chance. But then that other shot that I didn't think he had any chance on, he sliced it in like it was standing still. He's looking at maybe banking a ball across. I'm Mr. Obvious, either the 9 or the 13, and get him down there and create some problems. So it could be as simple as just, but you got to watch the 5-6. That still hasn't moved, but it looks like he's going to shoot the 9. He's going to go over here and look at if the cue ball ends up right where his hand is, what is he leaving? And if he ends up with his cue ball there, what's he leaving? So I like what Mike's doing. He's kind of planning out what's going to happen with the cue ball. And he's going to probably send this 9 back down. And if anything, he's going to hit the side rail, and his cue ball is going to be most of the shot. And the 9 ball is going to kind of end up, hopefully, by his pocket. Oh, not side rail. He went straight. That's fine. Combo it in like a boss. Look at that. That worked. That worked. That was a great shot. Yep. And maybe if he would have shot my shot, the cue ball would have went too far towards the 1 and got a little wonky. So he played all cue ball, and it worked out great. Again, I'm learning all cue ball most of the time. Most of the time, 1 pocket's a cue ball game. So, Dan hit a little Arkaruski, where he hit the high ball and it arced with the stop. That was a great shot. Controlled the cue ball. Got the 13 out of there. But now Mike has some options. He still wishes he could cut the 15 in. Not happening. He'd like to bank that 14. Like to bank the 3. He could, just all kinds of shots. He's looking around, prowling the table like a jungle cat. Back on the 3-ball bank if it's possible. Back on the 14. Watching where the cue ball might go on that shot. He's looking down the line at where the cue ball goes if he banks the 14. And he goes, he's starting to like the 14 now. See how accurate he was with the cue ball. Because you don't want to hit into that stack and push it towards his side. You're going to shoot this. And he might be going off. Oh, I was going to say, he might be going off that ball there, off that stripe, but this is fine too. That was all cue ball. Just getting the 14 on his side. Some good stuff could happen with some kicks and some kisses with the 14 or one of the other balls. So it was all cue ball. He was looking at that little pack of 5 balls connected, and he did not want to touch those with the cue ball. So once he determined that he wasn't going to hit those 5 balls and move them towards Dan's side and loosen them so they go, he decided that was the right shot. It's a good shot. Dan is not loving it. He's down 4 to -1. The balls are starting to kind of wiggle their way up table. He hasn't been able to shoot too much at his hole. He's going to send it towards his hole now. And that is going to give Mike some choices. And depending on where this cue ball is, he's going to look at the 9 and see if he can get that followed down. He's looking to see if he can go right to the side rail and right down to right by that 3. Can you get the cue ball to go between the 14 and the 3 and leave position? Potentially that's what he's looking at. And if he can do that naturally, he might shoot the 9. If not, he'll take the 14 out. So we'll see what he comes up with. Now he's either pointing at where he's going to shoot the 14 or pointing where he's getting the cue ball. He's getting the 14 out. He's taking the easy shot. Not the easy one, but the safer shot. He's going to look for the kick shot. Oh, the bank shot. Uh-oh. That was, he got a little bit luckier than he could have. If it would, hitting the point made that outcome a lot different. Because if that ball was down by that 3rd diamond or even farther, I mean, does a good point kick, hit, whatever. So that was interesting. I thought he would have just tried to take it out, but I think he felt like he could have banked it across and had the cue ball going to where Dan would not have a shot. It didn't quite work out that way, but you know what? This is no jar of pickles. As my buddy Nick Hansen says, this is no jar of pickles. The 7 ball, yeah, he could shoot the 7, but there's some stuff going on. I don't even think he's shooting the 7. I think he's just going to do this, which is a great shot. Great shot, Dan. He's just going to stick him on top of that ball and put a ball in front of his hole and create some pressure on Mike. And now Mike's got some stuff to contend. He's got something to contend with now. Because now Dan has balls that go in his hole. The 6 ball. Let's go a side view. Potentially the... oh, you can't really tell. Sorry. Yeah, he's got stuff going on. I'm saying, sorry, I was trying to check the camera. Dan created some issues. Now, Mike hit a great shot because he just said, go ahead, my friend, and roll in the 6. I'll give you that ball, and I'll move him on one on my side. And Dan would have to go to, like, Fancy Town to try to get more than one here. And he's a long distance away. He's very straight, and it's a tight pocket. So... And furthermore, he's down -1 to 4. If he slow rolls this ball off the rail and he misses it, Mike wins the game, basically. He gets 3. It's on 7. So, I don't know. I mean, the ball's almost hanging. It's very unlikely he's going to miss it. It's just, Mike hit a good shot. And Dan is going, yeah. Well, just like I said, yeah. So, I mean, depending on how Mike can hit the 9 to get onto the 15, it's not easy, but that could have been, Mike needs 4, and there's 4 open here. Essentially, it's a tough opener. But that could have been a costly miss. He's going to just try to get the cue ball down and flat on the 15 without being on the rail. That's the only issue. You want to be able to draw. He would love to be a handspan off the rail right now with that angle, because he could just pinch it down for those 2 balls and go on to the next game and be 1-1. Now he's still in a war because he's got to come with a shot where it's frozen with pressure of missing because Dan has open balls. So that being on that rail is a tough spot to be in. So he's going to shoot the 15. He's going to make it for sure. He's not frozen. There's not much he can do with the cue ball. So he's just going to have to make it and then figure something out to get the 6 out of there. But making it is critical because he doesn't want to leave Dan at the table shooting balls. So step 1, make the 15. Step 2, get the 6 out of there. And if he was off the rail, step 2 would have been getting on the last 2 balls and winning the game. But here we are. Let's make this one, Mike. Put it down. Yep. The thing there, see where he's frozen on the rail there? You can't do much with the cue ball. He didn't want to pace it even faster than that to get the cue ball up another 3 inches because the make is difficult. Because he would love to be another 3 inches up now, so he could do something with the 6 easy. Because now he's having to like either play some sort of blastorama shot, miniature blastorama. That's a good shot. Or whatever. So it's good. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 7. Mike has 2, 4, 6, 8, 7. There's 7 balls. Does that mean 2, 4? There's 9. Yeah, 6. Duh. 2, 4. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So there's 6 balls on the table. That means Mike has 6, and then Dan has -1. So, but Dan is not out of this game. He's got a ball in front of his hole. He's got a ball he can send to his hole. He's got coverage on the cue ball. He's got a big pocket here if he does that. If he knocked off of it. We'll see what Mike does here. Does he just... The problem with pocketing the 6 is he kind of leaves the 1 ball, but you got to get the 6. If you can't get it out of there, yeah, we'll see what he does. It looks like he might be kicking it out from behind. No, he just made it. Oh, he kicked it. Oh, he kicked it like that. Nice shot. And then he did not leave a great bank on the 1 because the cue ball wants to go towards that cluster of balls, which is not great for Dan. It pushes stuff towards Mike's side and pushes the cue ball away from where he wants to be. Let's see what Dan comes up with here. The break has proven to be important in these first 2 games. Both guys hit good breaks, and their opponents spent most of the rack trying to dig out of the situation on their heels, let's say, in general. So Dan's down. -1 to 6. He's stuck in his pocket, and like a couple balls going towards his hole. The rack's kind of still down table, so you can find some solace in that. He's got to try to find a shot here, though. He'd like to get stuff going towards his pocket, create some problems for Mike, not leave Mike just a little egg at his pocket, like a bank or something. So it's a tough spot, right? You can't make it all up in one shot. I wonder if he could just bank that stripe up by the top rail up there. Just kind of bank it back towards the 7 and stick the cue ball kind of on Mike's side. I'm not saying that's a genius shot. I'm just trying to think about what's possible from here. It's not like a lot of great options. Might as well take a look at the corner view because we got nothing else going on. Yeah, there's nothing great. At least I found out that I think that's the 14 ball. Wait a minute, I got a pair of glasses. That might help. Yeah, it's the 14 because the 10's down on this side. All right. So I'll show you what I was just looking at this here. So I think Dan's just going to bank the 1. What's he doing with the cue ball? Is he going to try to draw it away from those 4 balls? Yep. Didn't quite work. Now Mike's got a little bit of a tester on the 7, but he's got a little coverage with the cue ball, because the cue ball he could stun back over where he's looking right there. And that would have a little, like, if it rattled and stayed in the pocket, he would be covered. He's not going to be able to slow roll it. He could, I was thinking, could he slow roll it and get on the 6, or does he kind of want to like stun it for the 1? I think he might. I think the slow roll is too thin and he might go too far. So we'll see what he does. Does he stun it or slow roll it? Got a little distraction on the bridge, but not much. He is a left-hander, so that helps. He's not bridging over the 14 or whatnot. Yeah, he's looking at the 7. Now he's looking where, he's looking there. That's the rolling position. He's looking at some stunning position. If he stuns over, what's possible? Let's see what he chooses. Yeah, one pocket's an interesting game because it's like rolling it, you kind of bunt it into your pocket, and if the cue ball's behind those balls, it's a good shot. So probably as a one pocket guy, you probably think more of that sort of speed it, smooth it, slow it to the pocket. That's what looks like he's lining up for that, just like this. Now the challenge is when you let both of them, he came out okay because the 7 didn't leave a bank, but there what happened was he overcut the ball, so then the cue ball rolled a little farther than he wanted, and he missed it. And if he would have thicked it, he would have been up more like by that first diamond, the cue ball, and where the chalk is. It would have been closer to where he wanted to be. So that was a little bit of a striking error. Okay, back at the table. Looks like he's looking at the 1 ball and just covering the cue ball, all cue ball. Just, oh, wow. That's maybe not what he wanted because the 3 ball is banking and the 5 ball, ooh, this could get ugly quick. If Danny bank this in, get clear of the 10, get on the 5, 2, 4, ugh. This could be quite the turnaround in this game, depending on what happens to this 3. Let's watch together. Step 1 is make the 3. I thought he would hit it harder to go up table, but he hit it soft. And now he got a little straight on that 7. Let's go side view and see how straight he is. Yeah, he's pretty damn straight on it. So let's go back. Oh, here, I'll show you. Darn it. Sorry, guys. So he's pretty straight on the 7. But it looks like he's looking at, what's he doing? Is he playing the 5? Okay. Oh, he missed it. Oh, that's crazy. It happens. So now he's at 0. And Mike's got a chance to win the game here. He needs 2. He's got a makeable 10. He's got a distracting ball and a cluster of balls going towards Dan's hole. So this is creating some pressure on Mike, but we're gonna have I think he can just, let's see, make the 10 is the big thing, right? Yep, he made it. Yep, game winner. That's it. Just got to make the 10. Cleans up the 2, and we're 1-1. Nice shot, Mike. Yeah, great. Nice game. Fun game. What a set so far. Man, both are playing good. Tough situation for both players to get out of the break and then to fight through. And yeah, that was cool. So we're 1-1 going to 3. No huge momentum either way. They both played very solid on their break. We'll see what Dan does with his break. gonna jump in and see if there's any comments on this thing, if you guys are lighting me on fire. Let's see. Gotta go to. Hope the comments are turned on. Oop. Okay. Okay, I don't see any chats. No problem. So what happened? Let's get off of this view. Let's go back to here. Okay, we'll see what Mike's looking at. Now, Mike's looking at good break by Dan. Nothing earth-shattering. Nothing that's... he's not in a trap or anything. He's got options. The balls are pretty clustered. The 10 and the 7 are kind of tying each other together, so there's not like huge pressure on that. 15 goes, and there's nothing blocking it. So we'll see if he's going to just move the 15 and leave those two balls together, put the cue ball up table. Just like so. Yep. It's a good shot, Mike. He would have liked the cue ball to be on the rail. But he'll take that. Because those two balls aren't really doing anything now. Mike's... Mike put the 15 on his side. It's a lot better spot for Mike to start from than the first game where he had to get out of the break. Not as much pressure here. The balls are tied up more. I think Mike will be able to shoot at his hole a little bit sooner than 20 minutes into this game. Dan is considering his options. Nothing super apparent. I think he's going to try to chip something over towards his side, like this ball here, and just leave the cue ball. And I like it. I like how it came out. Cue ball's really good. I'm going to show you guys this view that I'm looking at here. The cue ball is good. It's blocking the 10 pretty much, but the 15, the 4 and 7 are wired, which was a really great outcome. And now all of a sudden Mike's got a different scenario, because before those two balls, the 7 and the 10 were protecting. Now things have been rearranged, and there's a dead ball situation. See what Mike does. He might just want to Blastorama. He did Blastorama. Okay, let's go back. It was Blastorama. I think he was trying to play a ball off the rack into his hole. And now Dan's heart rate probably went to from 52 beats up to 55 coming to the table. He's probably pretty excited with the outcome of this last shot from Mike. I think he's going to start with the 7-14, because I think that 15 is blocked by the 8. So I think almost his only shot is the combo here. And then the 6-10 is golden. So he's just kind of got to keep his crap together here. And that was not a great outcome. Nothing. Now he's shooting another combo. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, he protected his cue ball, but that was yeah, on that opening combo, I thought a little more control to try to get all of them. But he kind of opened up his stroke, and the balls did not favor him when they broke apart off the combo. He made the combo, and maybe he wanted to pace up his stroke so that he ensured that he made the combo. I think Mike's just gonna take his medicine here and be glad that he's still in this game. Because I think if you would have asked him after he shot that Blastorama, Karam, if he thought he was going to get back to the table, he might have said no. So now he's definitely in a bad spot-ish. I mean, he's got a couple balls on his side. So that's in his favor, and Dan has a little congestion with the 15 blocking some other stuff, but the 8 can get out of the way. And so Dan's definitely in a favored ball position here. And he's up 2-0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Yeah, 2-0 in ball count, 1-1 on the score in the match. But definitely Mike is happy with the turnout, the last couple shots, how they turn, where he's at right now, even though he's still in some trouble. But the game goes on. And Dan is not in an easy spot here. There's not a super, super simple spot that Dan can go to. Mike hit a really good shot there. Taking and getting that ball to come off the rail and kind of try to stick on those two balls or one of those balls. It's a very simple shot that Mike hit, but it's the extra detail that put Dan into a little bit of a predicament. And he's trying to find his way out of it by going up table and looking. Is there anywhere where I can leave him up here by either skimming off the 15 with some spin or just straight out kicking up table? He's just kind of looking and thinking, where can I put this guy where he can't make one of these balls or make a ball and get shape on another ball and start putting some balls together. Yeah, he's does the eyebrow up and down, a little minor head shake. That's Dan. That's how'd you like to have Dan be your dad, Mr. Cool? Hey Dan, Daddy Dan, I got a D in chemistry. He just raises an eyebrow or two and gives a little imperceptible head shake. And you just feel like 2 inches tall. All right, where are we? Back at it. Dan's trying to get out of this spot. He's in a tough spot. Let's see if he can get out of it. This is the tough spot. This is the tough part of one pocket. It's an emotional game, man. Mike hit a shot that he probably thought he lost the game on. Dan got to the table, probably thinking he could win the game. Then Mike hits a shot and sort of puts Dan in a predicament. So it's like up and down emotions, right? So now Dan is probably in a spot where he's not thrilled that he only got like one ball on that and this is no good, Dan. Yeah, this is no good. Well, Dan's not gonna be happy about that one. Not that there was an easy shot, Danny. He's probably gonna kill me. I don't think anyone's ever called him Danny. Okay, little Dan, Nierenhausen. Yeah, you're in a tough spot there, Dan. I think in that case, it might have made sense just to try to push up to the end rail with the cue ball, at least not leave him here, or with an angle. Like try to find a spot to kick to where he has a long shot with very little angle instead of a, this type of situation. So we'll see what Mike does. He wants to get in on that 12 next. And he might put himself in jail, which he did. And that smile right there, that's the new Mike Pankoff. He is He's very present. He's very positive. And he's okay with a little air here and there. So is he going to draw him back to his pocket? I think that's what he's going to do. Try to pull back to right where he's kind of standing. He wants to stick him behind those balls again, just like so. And that is a very nice shot. Very controlled, effortless power, Mike. As we say around the club here, as my people say, effortless power. So that was a great shot. Very controlled, very accurate. He put him right back into that sort of semi-awful position. The only thing Dan has going for him now better is that there's not a ball out in space as much. There's only one ball over the 7. So now he could be conservative and just skim off this ball and either leave him doubled behind the 5 or leave him straight on the 7. And he's going for doubled behind the 5, which is a good cue ball. Perfect cue ball, Dan. If I had a chalk in a pool cue, I'd tick the chalk on my pool cue shaft right now. Nice shot, Dan. And now Mike's in a little bit of a spot. Doesn't really have an offensive shot. Dan's got balls in his area, lots of balls. So we'll see what Mike comes up with. Mike could. He's going to shoot the combo and control the cue ball, so Dan doesn't really have a shot at his hole. Where he's all tripled up on everything, doubled up on everything. So the cue ball is going to end up by about where his hand is, or close. Okay, well. See, I was just thinking he wanted to make sure he didn't leave him the 8. So I'm sure he looked to see. Let's go back and on this there we go. I fluffed the thing. Okay, so now we're kind of curious, does that 1 get in the way of the 8 or not? I guess we're going to find out in a second. That's why I kind of thought being back another inch or 2 was good. Maybe Mike was thinking the combo was makeable. Wasn't as worried about the cue ball. I think maybe just a stop shot left him where he couldn't make the 8 apparently. So he didn't need a draw back. So that was good too. Now what's Dan thinking? He's looking over at that 8-ish. Now he's looking over at Mike's side of the table. But now he's looking back at his side of the table. I can see on this camera here. He's probably trying to consider if that 8 goes. It's probably really close. He hasn't given up on it yet, because now he's kind of looking back at the 7. Back on the 8. I don't know if he's going to kick it or try to shoot it. Yeah, he tried to shoot it. He hard to say if he shot that with hope or if he shot it with intention. I'd have to ask him about that later, because that's the thing with pool. Sometimes we shoot hoping, sometimes we shoot with intention, and hope is doubt and intention is confidence. So who knows? Okay, simple shot, get it out of there. Mike's just trying to now dig out of that positioning, dig Dan's positioning out. And he did. He is slowly but surely, 1 ball at a time. Dan's gonna have to try to erode Mike's position with the 7 and maybe kick it. And he did. Got something on his side, which is a good shot. Now we're going to see if Mike is going to look at the 8 ball and see if anything's available with the 8. He's going to look around, think about it, and then he's going to look at the 7, and he's not even thinking about anything but just the 7, and he's probably going to blast it a little bit. Blastorama? Get the 8 out of there? Yeah, Blastorama. And he's sweeping, and he's Blastorama, and it worked good. And he stuck him on the 12. Covered the 1. Sheesh. Good shot. And now we're still at 1-1, racing to 3. Early in this rack, if you weren't here, Mike hit a Carom Blastorama that looked like a 8-ball break and missed the Carom, and felt like the game could have been over on that shot. Mike probably felt that way. Dan probably felt that way. But a couple little things happened, and here we are. 2-1 in ball count, and the balls are starting to work their way away from each player's pocket and towards the other end of the table slowly. And when Mike blasted them, there was a few on his side and mostly on Dan's side, and now it's been working its way around to where they're kind of mostly on Dan's side, but they're wiggling their way up table. Dan's on a 2-1 ball lead. I think Dan is probably going to 2-rail this one and put the cue ball down on the end rail by Mike's pocket, maybe by the first diamond. Or he'll go up table. That's fine too. He might just follow through and go up table. That works. Put him up on that rail. Wish Mr. Pankoff adieu. That's a good spot to be up table. Keep the balls on his side. It's tough to move stuff away from Dan's side from up in that position there. So Mike has to come up with a shot. It's not just a simple shot from down on the, where I was going to put Mike on Dan's shot, the one I suggested. Mike could have just did that simple game where you knock the balls up table and drag the ball back, and knock the balls up table and drag the ball back. That happens in one pocket a lot, where people just trade doing that until all the balls get up table. So Dan made it so that the balls can stay down table and stay on his side. So I actually like Dan's shot better than my shot there. That was a great shot, Dan. Simple shot. And starting to understand one pocket. Little by little, right? Just here trying to learn and watch and have fun. Keep company with you guys. Missing the voice of Slate. Because when Brian's here, I can be a wild man. Or Mike. Mike on commentary, I can be a wild man too. Let's take a look at what Mike's looking at, okay? This is what Mike's looking at from this side of the table. He's looking at the 9, he's looking at the 6, he's looking at what he can do. Can he skim off the 9 and just roll down table? That looks like what he's doing. Just got to beat the 3. He's got to kind of thick it without going too thick. Medium thick. I don't think he's going to hit anything hard bank. I think this is a rolling shot all day and just try to put the cue ball down by Dan's hole without hitting the 3 off the rail or straight. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, right? He hit it soft enough where that was a good outcome for him. He doubled up the 3 and the 12. It ended up that way at least. So if he would have hit it harder and been more concerned with making sure he had the cue ball down towards Dan's pocket more, things could have went wonkier. So maybe that was good. He hit it that soft. I think. Seems good. I like it. Kept the shot simple. Didn't send anything knocking around. because if he would have hit it harder and hit the same shot and that 3-ball rolled and then left a bank, I mean, there's a world in which hitting that shot hard could have cost him multiple balls. And the way he hit it, it was a lot more controlled. So I like it. Okay, Dan is doing what? Shooting some sort of up table shot? Oh no, the 1-ball. Ooh. That was a good shot. Pretty aggressive. Good cue ball though. Yeah, great cue ball. Now everything's over on Dan's side. Officially, if you look at that 5-ball in relation to the center of the table. And it's 2-1 Dan, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 or 15. So Dan's in a good spot. A lot of stuff goes in his hole, especially if that 12 goes away. And everything's on his side. And they're not up table. So Mike's in a little bit of a spot. He's not in a trap or anything, but he's just, the position of the balls is not favoring Mike by any means. And I think he wants to move that around right now. He wants to change that dynamic. Try to get something on his side. Try to mess up the balls on Dan's side so they're not just all sort of able to go. And get the cue ball down the end rail. So that was a good shot, Mike. Very nice. Now, Dan is going to do what? Maybe just bank the 13 across. Have the cue ball up by the end rail. The 13 doesn't have to be cut too hard because it could actually go right between the 5, 15, and the whatever. Oh, he actually gave it more cut than I thought. Oh my gosh. Okay. I thought he was going to play out cue ball and try to get the cue ball to the left a little bit more of where it ended up. But that was a great shot. Nice. Yeah. I'm a fraidy cat, I guess. That was a good shot. There was nothing. He wasn't giving up anything by hitting that shot that way. So that was a great shot. So now this 5-ball. Let's see what he's looking at. I'll show you the view. We'll look at Dan's what he's looking. He's looking at the 9. He's trying to figure out what he likes and doesn't like. Yeah. He's definitely not looking at the 5. I think he's trying to figure out the cue ball. If he shoots the 9, what's going to happen with the cue ball? And that side pocket is, let's see if we get a side view. The side pocket is not super in play. I'll show you guys. I think he's shooting the 9 and he's trying to hit the cue ball into the 15 or the 6 or whatever. Yeah. He was kind of, I don't know, he might have decelerated on that, gave up on it a little bit, but we'll see what Mike has, if he's got anything to shoot at. Go back to here. Okay. I don't know if that 6 goes by. Everything's kind of doubled up. Is he looking at, what's he looking at? That maybe pushing the 15 over by his hole, or the 11. I think it's the 11 on the 7. This one he's got to kind of, yeah, I think maybe he's looking at just pushing it over there, not trying to make it or anything, just all cue ball on his side of the table. That was just all cue ball. That's a good shot. Put him up on the end rail. I think Mike would have loved if that 11 stayed over another diamond closer, but that's good. That's playable. That's definitely good. I don't know if this 5 just pushes through. Looks like he's lined up on it. Yeah. Ooh, he hit a little Fanaruski. Wanted to make sure he didn't scratch. He definitely didn't scratch. No. Not anything really offensive here. I think Mike's going to maybe chip the 15 up table and stick him on the 9 kind of shot. See what he comes up with. Softer than I was saying. Well, no. I think that's what he was sort of trying to do. Just hit a little soft. I think he was trying to stick him on that 9-ish. Right in that little 3-pack stack there of the 9. The 2 orange balls. Whatever those are. No, pink. the pink 12 and the 5. Okay, let's look. Now I'll tell you why I knew. That's why I knew it was 12. It looked different from the other side. All right, so what's Dan do from here? LD. LDN. Low deflection Nierenhausen. Okay. He is looking at, I'd show the other view, but it's just the back side of his cranium. He's pretty blocked on that 11 there with the 5. So I don't think he has like a great option with that ball. He'd like to get off of Mike's side onto his side and figure something out, but I think that 5 ball is an impediment to that shot. Is that right? Procluding. Old one pocket words. Just remember the old one pocket guys. They'd always have these 10-cent words. I gotta break them out. Procluding. All right, Dan. What are you doing? Just looking at what happens if he kicks the 11. He's over there looking at if he kicks the 11 to his side. Does he mind where the cue ball is? And that's not where he thought the cue ball was going to go. And it might work because this 7 ball is a little dicey. Let's do a ball count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. We're good. 3-1. Does Mike come with the 7 ball shot and just deal with it? Or does he not? There's not a huge future in the 7. It doesn't get a bunch of balls, and it could cost you a bunch of balls. So I think he looks back. I don't know, he's not even looking at the 7. He's looking down at the, maybe trying to get the 8, stick on the 8, get it 2 rails out somehow, and leave the cue ball where it is. So, yep. He might shoot the 7. I think maybe what he's looking at too is if he misses a 7, if the cue ball's there, is the 8 easy? Is the 9 blocking? I think he's just kind of examining what's possible, looking at the options. Let's see if we can get a different look at Mike's sideline. Nope. Sorry, can't do it. It's good. Yep. See, now he's looking at where the cue ball could be. Trying to figure out if that's worth it. Is it worth it? Could he get 2? Could he get 3? Does he just risk losing the game to get 1? He's kind of calculating. And we'll see what he comes up with for an answer. He's looking back at the 8. He likes the stop shots when available to get out of a situation. Yeah, he's not ready to shoot yet. That's okay. Checks the ball count, 3-1. You always want to know where you're at in the game. Now he's down on the 6. And he just shoots the easy shot. Not the easy shot, but yeah, the simple shot. Didn't risk anything. Yep. Just figured it wasn't worth it because it wasn't. And he came up with a good shot. Okay, Mike, if you're watching this later, once you make that decision, maybe take a couple extra seconds and freeze that cue ball in the end rail, bro. But I get it, man. I know you wanted to shoot that 7. Okay. What's Dan got now? Man, he's in good shape. He's got everything on his side. Yeah, that's the 8 goes. The other 2 balls, I don't know, that it's just, they're double, everything's kind of congested over there, but everything's on his side. So he can just kind of chill bank this 6 back and leave the cue ball up. And Mike's just got issues. You know? I wonder if that 6-9, if that 8 blocks. Let's get a zoom in. I don't know. Do a side view. Might as well, huh? Mike's gonna think for a second. That doesn't help us. The 6-9 might be goable. Is that a word? Goable. Try from the corner. Can't tell the difference. Break view. I'll show you what I'm watching, guys. From this side, does the 6-9 go? I don't know. He's probably gonna move it anyways, but see what he comes up with here. He's gonna push the 12 through, or that whatever that stripe is there. Yep, just like that. Sweep it away. Get stuff on his side. Great shot. A lot tougher than it looked for that cue ball. That was like a stun run through from distance. What a shot, Mike. Very good. Very accurate cue ball. 6 shot, Mike. Cleared out all the stuff that I was analyzing to see if it went. And move some stuff to his side. And now look at, it's different now, right? Not everything is just kind of going in towards, now they're clustered different where, they're on his side, but they're not as open as they just were. So good job, Mike. Now Dan is gonna just do this again. This is Dan's thing. I like it. He likes to keep the balls down table, have Mike up table, have the balls on his side. Thank you for teaching me one pocket, Dan. Thank you. And thanks for playing in the tournament. And awesome. You too, Mike. Thanks for playing the tournament. This is fun. Oh, these guys are winning money too, by the way. It was $100 entry fee tournament, and there's $800 generated, so it's 500, 300. So their winner gets 500, loser gets 300. Not loser, second place. Runner up. No one's a loser. They're all winners in this tournament. But these guys, 500, 300. That's the big payout. And we'll take a picture with the slate belt, the duct tape, plastic slate belt, homemade for the victor as well. What do you got going on with Mike here? Is he going to hit another little blasty shot? Looks like he's lining up for a little blasty shot. Yep. I like Mike's doing a little blastorama tonight for us. It's good. Keeps me engaged. Now, Mike might have got a little fortunate because that 3 ball does not bank. It double kisses, and that 12 ball, the 3 ball's in the way. So we're gonna have to see what Dan comes up with. I'll show you what Dan's looking at. He's looking at this. He's definitely locked down here to do something with these balls. And we're trying to figure out, what would I do? I don't know. Maybe bank the 12 and try to stick them on the back of the 3. Ugh, I don't know. Get the 12 on my side and cover the cue ball. Or at least 12 on my side and maybe 2 rails with the cue ball behind the 3. Yeah, I think that might be available. But that's, who knows? Ooh, look at, Dan's in his thinking man pose. You can, when you fold your arms, you know you're deep in concentration. Okay, he's ready to shoot. He made his decision. He's not shooting my shot. He's going to try to bank it across and went off the other ball. Little carom bank kind of thingy. Now Mike's looking at if anything's lined up towards Dan's hole. He looked down the barrel there and he was looking at those 5 balls that are the 2 and the 3 balls. The 15 and the 1 and the 9, 11, and 5 that were tied up. He's looking down to see if any of that thing's wired, which is not. So that gives him an opportunity to let his cue ball kind of come up table a little bit, and he can put all his chips in on this bank and try to make it and get shape. And it went wide. That's a bummer for Mike. Now Dan has to figure out banking a ball, controlling the cue ball, getting something in front of his pocket if possible, leaving Mike maybe up by his corner pocket up high, up table. See what he does. He's lining up and he's rolling it. Oh, he just did a nice little simple bank. Safety. And controlled his cue ball perfect. Put some stuff on his side. Didn't concern himself with getting anything in front of his hole in that shot, and it was a great shot. Let's see, Mike. It's a good shot. He just wanted to cue ball all the way. Wasn't concerned about putting stuff on Dan's side. Everything's kind of congested. Who cares? No big deal. So he hit a good little shot. Put the cue ball on close to the rail. Now Dan, let's see what Dan does. Can he bank the 6 back up towards his pocket and leave the cue ball up on that first diamond-ish, or the head? Actually, the second diamond. If he left the cue ball in the center of the table, that works too. It's too much. He can't do both. He can't cut bank it and control his cue ball like that. So I think he's going to hit that and put the cue ball. Yeah, he would have liked to have the cue ball more up towards that end rail, I think. But that was a good shot. And he doubled up to 6. And Mike has some stuff to deal with here. And now he created some issues with that 6 ball. But I think Mike can just kick behind the 6 here. Yep, nice shot. And just wedges, a little more wedge game. And we'll see how awful it looks from the side. Looks worse from over here even. But it's pretty wedged up. Let's see what Dan does. He could just chip off one of these balls. He could chip the 9 and maybe make the 7 in the side and put the cue ball up where he's walking. He's walking up there to look right in that spot. He's like, what if I put him right here? Right where his tip of his cue is. Do I like it even if the ball drops in the side? Do I want to go off the 6 and try to wiggle this stuff open a little bit instead of the 9? See what he chooses. I think he's going to be up there. He's looks like the 6 maybe. Yep. And he would have liked the cue ball to be a little farther. So it's good. Let's see what Mike comes up with. All right, here we go. We're back. I had to mute it. Joel came in the office. Mike's little scrapey safety. And this is turning into quite the wedge game. which is fine. 3-1 in ball count, 1-1 in everything else. I'm losing my mind. I can't. Is this the shot where Mike Blastarama and the game where Mike Blastarama and I thought it was over in 5 minutes? Because here we are. This is a completely different game. But I think it's the same game. All right. So now we're just going to be scraping and back and forth, which is fine. Okay, good shot, Mike. Here's the deal, guys. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. We're going to let you guys sweat this wedge game for a few minutes. And we're back. Good shot, Mike. Stuck him on the end rail. Good cue ball. Looks like Dan got a ball while I was gone. So let's think. If we're Mike, we need to get balls down table. One option would be pocket that 9. If you can't bank stuff down, you can pocket stuff and get it going on the spot. So let's see how Mike can get balls down table. Dan, as of yet, I mean, the balls are naturally up table now, so Dan doesn't have, and they're all on his side, so Dan just needs to kind of prevent giving up any sort of free-ish type stuff or making mistakes where he puts a ball, pockets a ball, and leaves Mike a shot, sort of. So there's nothing too offensive he can do or needs to worry about. He just has to kind of protect against doing something knuckleheady, which he's very good at because he's a calm dude and he's a great one pocket player. Evidenced in this match so far. 2 hours in. Score is 1-1 with Dan on 4 and Mike on 1. So there's what I was talking about. That was one of Mike's moves. Get that ball pocketed, get it down table. Now Dan can send it up table, but depending on when the cue ball is, Mike will have a move after this, some sort of something he can do. Especially with the cue ball here and not on the end rail, because now Mike can shoot a shot where he shoots the 15 and makes it. It's not really set up for what I was thinking, which kind of hitting him with some pace and kind of scrambling him scrambling him a little bit and making a ball. But now he's just going to shoot the 9, I think, if he's not blocked, and then have that be the ball that spots. Uh-oh. Whoopsie. That's not what Mike wanted. I was kind of looking at that side shot, trying to chip that 15 in and get the balls mixed up a little bit. And then, but he would have had to really draw the ball back pretty. It would have been a pretty hard shot because he'd had to draw the ball pretty strong to get it back into down in this end of the table. So that's a bummer. Okay, for Mike. Good for Dan. And this is, now Dan has, this is what Dan's looking at from the side here, that one ball. And he's probably looking to like stick into that 5 and shoot the 15 next, because there's nothing that really gets given up if it rattles out or some silliness. So let's see what Dan likes here. Yep, he's sort of making peace with the one ball, getting committed, finding the right stroke on it, and just kind of stunning into the 5, I think. Oh, he went forward. Okay. That works too. Maybe he's a little more comfortable rolling it. Maybe he just tipped up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe he was trying to stun it. And sometimes, I know in training I talk a lot about people, they tip up at the last second, but I'm not saying that's what he did. Looks like he actually tried to follow through a little bit. And now, what's he looking at? Is that he's looking at the 5 to see if the two railer's available. We'll look over his shoulder here. See what he's looking at there. $15's too sharp. He's not even looking at it. This is pretty jacked up. He's got to hit pretty hard to get it back down table. Nice shot. I mean, what a shot. Excellent. I walked out to take a break for a second, and someone had put the radio on Enya radio, and this is like a wedge game, and Enya was playing, and I thought everyone would be asleep watching it, so I put on some different music. Now I can hear it kind of popping through the door here. Nice shot, Dan. Here we're going to take this out, right, Mike? Little spinnerooski behind it. Yep. And that did not turn out the way he'd like. He was looking for a kind of a spin and stick. Now Dan has some options. I think the 5 goes, the 15 goes across. I didn't put the cue ball over. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. How does Mike have 2 balls? He doesn't have 2 balls. He's scratched. I'm sorry. If anyone cares about the ball count, my bad. What a shot. Sheesh. What a great shot. I don't know if that 5 goes. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, that's right now. Yeah, somehow. Oh, you know what? I think Mike lost one, and I might have added one instead of taking away. Oh, the 5 does go ish. Good enough. So now Mike's in a tough spot. I mean, real tough, honestly. This is a bummer for him. It's not fun to be here. Ball's really close to the hole. Can't take it out. Can't really kick it out. Gonna have to just play a stick him behind the 15 shot. Is that what he's gonna do? Oh, no, make the ball. Well, I guess he didn't need to stick him because there's enough blocking and traffic and stuff going on where you could just play a simple stop shot. So that was a good shot, though. Got 3 of them in down table now. Couldn't really do anything with the 5, so he didn't panic. He just put his ball back down table and covered a few options with the cue ball, just hitting a simple stop shot, and ended up maybe getting a better look at clearing that 5 out on his next shot. Dan's kind of looking at this 15. I'll show you the side view. Okay, yeah, he's maybe he's gonna stick on it. Yeah, a simple little shot, just something easy. Yeah, he likes that 5 there, so there's no reason to try anything crazy. Mike might try to put the cue ball back right where it is and move those balls to his side a little more, just like that. Now he's got 4 on the spot. That worked out pretty good. Now Dan has a 2-railer in his hole. He's just gonna have to figure out. We'll give it a look over his shoulder here. 2-roller at his hole. He hits these so good. Yeah, what a shot. Sheesh. Game winner? I think so. Just got to make the 5. Yeah. Just watch the stroke check. Straight. Yep. Nice shot, Dan. Okay. I think Mike's going to take a break. Dan's up 2-1. Mike's breaking. We're going to be on break. I'm going to mute this for a minute, and we'll be back for the next game. We'll see if Mike can get it to go to 2 apiece and have a Hill thriller. 2-1 Dan, race to 3. Mike's breaking. Dan's held serve 2 games. Mike held on his break. So if Mike can figure out a way to hold serve on this game, we'll go to the hill with Dan breaking. So we'll see. Alrighty. First step for Mike is to put a good break on it. That's the first, and second game that Mike's lost during this tournament. He went undefeated up to this point in games and matches. But Dan's got his nose open a little bit, but Mike put a good break on him. A really good break, honestly. There's no kick shots that are apparent. The 14 isn't doubled. He can leave him. The 7 can be cut in but it is covered a little bit by the 12. So he's kind of heading up table to see, like, if he leaves him right there. If he hits the 14 all the way, he's looking where he can put his cue ball. Definitely not loving being here. He's looking into the stack. Is there any shots he can hit? Maybe push through on the 7. That looks a little risky. Always tough after the break. Mike hit a good break on him. Looks like he's looking at that 7. I'll show you if I can show you what I'm seeing in the other camera is this view right here, you know? He's looking down at that rack. Try to follow his eyes and find the shot. And it looks like the 7 ball is the only ball that's kind of something to do with there. His backup table with the cue ball. Or looking where the cue ball, if he leaves the cue ball up in this space now, he's kind of looking, is there anything there? He's kind of looking all over the rack, see what's available. Oh, it worked for Mike. No, it didn't. I was going to say he could go off the 9 into that 11. Sorry, Mike. I mean, it's Blastorama. Not that that was your shot you shot. I didn't even look at the shot you shot. Just there's a lot of action going on. Don't punch me, Mike. You watch back this game. This match, I'm sure you will. It's more of an ode to you, Mike. Like if you were here with Brecky, you'd be looking for wild shots. So it's homage, Mike. It's not. I'm not picking on you, bro. It's homage. Mike's forgotten more about one pocket than I'll ever know, so there is that as well. Dan's a roller coaster of emotions and expressions. Just kidding. Okay, he's got something. Jacked up. Okay. Yeah, nice shot. Played the stick shot. Might have left Mike an 8-ball here. Mike could bank and stick and put it in front of his hole. Mike's looking, can I go up table? What's available? Maybe off the 15 he was thinking. A little Spinarooski. I think that 8 ball is looking pretty juicy though. And he cannot stop it. So he's going to try to leave him behind the rack. Okay, well, he can't. He had way less than I thought he did of that 8 ball. So he just went with a continuation of almost the same spot he was after the break. So that was a very simple shot. And that was a great shot. Get a little different angle here for you guys. This is what Dan's looking at. Okay. Good shot. Ooh, real good shot. Stuck him on the rail. And this is not a fun spot to be. So we're going to have to see what Mike comes up with. We'll go from this angle here for a second. Watch Nancy unpack her cue in the background. All right, well, Mike found something he likes. And pretty simple shot, just good cue ball. Leaving everything sort of over on his side, protecting from any easy takeout of that, whatever that is, the 7 ball, 3 ball. Yeah, 3. So he's got Dan behind the stack. Ooh, tempted him with that orange 13. Look at how juicy that shot looks. Just kidding. Only fish shoot that shot. Fish like me. So let's figure out how Dan does it here. Maybe he is looking at that 13. I just said only fish shoot that shot. Dan shot it. Fan did. And he went Fanapalooza on it. Oh. And Dan looks exactly like he looked in the first game on the first shot, even after Fanapalooza shot. So good job, Dan. You are not going to be bothered by the trivialities of fanning a shot. Did Mike not get left the 3 ball? Because he's looking over on the other side here. I thought he had a juicy looking 3. That's not too thin, is it? Dan might got away with this one. No, I think Mike's got it. He's maybe just more thinking about where the cue ball's going. He'd like to somehow get back down for the 7 ball, but that's kind of asking too much. Yeah, he couldn't have. It's impossible. So he just took the egg and put it in the basket. Egg in the basket. And now he's going to deal with the 13 and try to protect his balls. Can he double bank the 13 to his hole? He's winding up. I think he's doing it. Yep. What a shot. All cue ball. Nice, Mike. Okay, Dan, you got another shot of redemption. Make the 9, fan. Make the 9. Come on, Dan. Show us some stones. Show us that you carry them around in a wheelbarrow. You won't be deterred. That's exactly what he's showing us. Yes. Good shot, Dan. Confidence. Respect. Respect. There's some guy I used to know, and he used to say all the time, respect. I'll chill like respect. He's the only guy I know who ever said that. Can't remember his name. That's a great story, huh, guys? Okay, so Mike wants to take this out and hold his position and protect his position. And so he ended up doing just that. Dan's got some options. He's got another thin cut on the 15. Let's go for it, Dan. Break out the bridge. Fan cut the 15, thin cut it, blast into that one ball and run a bunch of balls. How many balls? What? Is there only two, 3, 5, 7? I think I got a wrong ball count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I think I got excited. I think Mike only has one. How did I think he had 2? Uh-oh. Yikes. If the 6 goes, we're going to see some balls move and maybe some balls ran. And Mike is looking at it. It's thin. And he shook his head and said, too thin. Not today, Satan. And he's going for a different shot. He's thinking, wait a minute. What if I wink and kind of turn my head sideways and think about it a little bit more? He's like, nah, maybe. He's looking at some other stuff. And he's decided against it. He thought he could charm that ball to be made. That's what he thought. He's a hustler. Okay, whoa. He just went with the kick shot. Oh my gosh, what a shot, Mike. What a great shot. Snap, snap, snap. Snap, snap with my beret and my beatnik finger snap move. Great shot. Because now, Dan's behind the ball. Mike's balls are in a decent position. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 is still 1-0. Ball count 2-1 Dan. This is on Mike's break. We can go look at a different camera view. And we can see Dan's shoe. There it is. There he is. Okay. So this is what Dan's looking at, sort of. This is from Mike's pocket angle. And then we'll go back and see what he's going to do and down on the break view. There's nothing that's really pouring into Mike's pocket. There's stuff in front of his pocket, but nothing too bad. I mean, if the cue ball was down on the end rail, there's nothing just going right at it. He's just going to take a foul and put him on the end rail on his side. Oh no, he's doing this. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. 10-6. Drag the cue ball behind the orange 13. That's a possibility. This is what he's lining up. Things could go well. If he doesn't have to even get behind the 13, he could just get over on the other side of the 13, and he'd have the 7 and the 15 to deal with if he makes it. See what he does here. Uh-oh. Well, he Gave up the 13. Whoopsies. Tough reach. Is he got an extension for his cue? Must. Yep. So he is going to look to get on another ball, but he's pretty thin. I don't know where the cue ball is going to go. Is he going to try to get on the 14? He's reaching. This is not ideal. He might just... Yeah, that's good. He is going for the 14. On the rails, a little bit tricky. Now he's jacked up if he wants to shoot the 14, and there's balls that can go in Mike's pocket. It's not super awesome, but he made it. Missing it would have been big trouble. So he got the first part good. And I don't even think he's looking at the 14. Yeah, I get a little head shake. I'll get you on the side camera here. He's looking at it now, but yeah, he's not thrilled with the 14. That cue ball is really close to the rail. He's pretty straight in. Not thrilled with it. He's looking at the 9. He's looking at some other options. I think he's going to do some with a 9. That 14 is just a little tricky. If he shoots it fast, that's going to be a little strange. But he's down on it. Well, it worked. Okay. Because it went in. Oh no. The music's up. They told me when I laugh, they can hear me. But if that didn't go in, it was game over. So, but it went in. So here we are. I'm not laughing at you, Dan. It's just you're a great ball pocketer, man, and that was a ballsy shot. So congratulations, good shot. Sometimes you just gotta say screw it and shoot the shot and not miss it. That's what Dan did. All right, so he's in a little bit of a pickle here. Tiny bit. I mean, one of the easy shots is to kind of push follow the 10 and stick behind one of those balls there on Mike's side. But I think Dan is kind of wishing he had got a little better payoff offensively for shooting the tough shot. And maybe he's saying goodbye to that thought and taking a second to say goodbye to no offensive opportunity. He'll start looking for a defensive play where he can kind of, now he's looking more at what I was describing, I think. But it takes a minute sometimes after you come with a big shot like that, you put your eggs in the basket and you think, well, let me get paid. And he did not get paid, and he hit a great shot. So now he's in the acceptance stage, and he's looking at what to do from here now. It's probably going to be some sort of stick Mike back down by his pocket and cover the cue ball as much as possible, or leave him, something tough like that. So, didn't pay off the way he wanted. He hit a great shot. Took his time. Didn't tilt. Didn't shoot anything fast. Tough player. Mentally tough. It's 2-1 him, Dan, and then Mike's got to figure out how to get a ball going towards his hole, maybe, or some balls going towards his hole, or Dan doesn't have too much going on other than the 5 right now. Mike might just kick 3 rails and leave him down by his pocket, I think, and take the foul. That's a possibility. Because if he trades spots with Dan, that's not a bad situation. The cue ball was over there. That cost him a ball. Mike's good at kicking, the speed. But we'll see. He might be chipping off the 11, but he might be going 3 rails. Yep, he's going 3 rails. And he's like, I'm going to trade you positions. This... Whoopsies. I like the idea. Just the execution kind of fell short a little bit, so... Now Dan's got to figure out how to get some balls. And we know it's going to get one. And they're not laying great to get a bunch. Anything, I mean, more than one is kind of doing a lot here. I don't even know if you can get more than one. See what he comes up with. Gonna get another chance to. No, I don't think so. I don't think the 3 goes by. I was gonna say he's gonna get another chance to shove a ball in his pocket off the frozen on the rail, but I don't think he's gonna get that chance. I don't think that ball goes. He's gonna shoot the 9 and move some stuff towards his hole, just like so. Control the cue ball. So I think he's got 3 balls. Just heard him drop one in the rack, so. So Mike's gonna bank the 7 and get something going towards his hole. Maybe get the 9 out of there? I don't know. Okay, I think that's what he was trying to do. And it just got a little deep. Because if Mike did not hit the point, it would have a little mini Blastorama the 9 over across table and swept some stuff towards his hole. So Dan might have a shot to just smooth the 2 and put the cue ball right back where it started a little while ago. Just like so. Good shot. Great shot. And now he's got the 9. And he might just go up kind of 4 rails towards the 3-7 with some follow. Or he'll draw it. Looks like he's kind of drawing it. Yeah. Yeah. He could have went forward there. Maybe it was a little flat to do that. I don't know. To go up to the end rail, side rail, end rail, side rail, back down on the other side of those 2 balls, exactly where he is. But maybe that wasn't available. So he made 2, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, yep. So he's 3 off the hill, or 3 off the wind ski. It's been a tough match for Mike. Dan's played good. Mike's played good too. It's not over. I like that. Well, this is a tester. Because if Mike banks this 15 and just leaves that 12 sitting there, there's 2, 4, 6. There's a world in which Mike can win this game from right here. Unless that 12's in the way, then ignore everything I'm saying. We're going to find out in a second. We're going to find out. Yep. We're finding out. Nice shot, Mike. Yeah. Now we've got a game because Mike's got a chance to actually run out Aiden out here. This will be a telling shot. And that told us that Mike shit. No rooting interest. I'm just feel terrible. I got it at the moment there, Mike. I had you on 8 there. Yeah, Mike's temple rub. He's definitely not happy. Well, so we'll see what he comes up with because now he's trapped. I had a chance to get them all, most of them, and definitely he's got to just accept it and figure out the best shot from here, which he's very good at because he's a mentally tough guy. So we'll see what he comes up with. Tough spot. Might want to try to kick that 12 in. Gosh, that sounds like awful, but I think that's what he's doing. Yeah. He thought about it. And I actually think, unless the 7's 3 or whatever is blocking him, he could almost 3-rail kick it too, but maybe those balls are blocking. But he's going for, I think, the combo. He just pushed his chips in and said, well, if I make the combo, I win. If I miss the combo, I lose. So I get it. The kick looked low percentage to have it work, especially after what happened. So I get it. I could see it happening. So no, Dan needs 3. He's got 1 for sure. And the 6 is pretty open. So he got a good angle on the... No, he didn't get a good angle on the 6. He's pretty straight. But we'll see what he does. Can he force over for the 8? Yeah, he's got it. Yep. That'll be about it. Mike's going to concede. Yep. Great match. Good job, Dan. Good playing. Good tournament, Mike. And congratulations to Dan Nierenhausen. He's our second One Pocket 8-man invitational tournament winner. So great job, Dan. Great playing, Mike. Thanks for everybody watching and cheering everybody on. We'll see you on the next stream. It was fun sitting with you guys. We're looking forward to Brecci getting back. Voice of Slate. I did my best. Hopefully you guys had a little bit of fun. Okay, we'll see ya.